Hello, everyone, and welcome. It is Wednesday, May the 4th be with you. See, I got the date right. Luckily, it's a special day. It's a special day because we really have the freshest meteorite on Earth that has fallen, been hunted, and been collected. We're going to show it off to you today. My friends are here, and I just can't wait to get into that story. You're joining us for the weekly Knowledge Bolide Hangout, sponsored by Topher Spin Meteorites. But before we get into the fall, I want to tell you a little bit about what we're doing today. We're rolling out a project that the whole Knowledge Bolide crew has been working on together. We're building a video glossary of meteorite terms. So if you ever have a question about what exactly we're talking about when we say bolide or CAI or differentiated, we're going to have a utility you can go to and click on those words and watch a 20-second video glossary explanation of that word. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll that out today and kind of show you some of the words that have already been done by the teammates. And we're going to show you how they look and how they play into our discussion today of the fresh fall. We also have an update from Sue on the MetBull update. So all the fresh meteorites that have been classified in the MetBull, and then we got some show and tell. So I don't want to talk anymore. Let's just jump right into it. Roberto Vargas, are you with us?
I am here.
Nice. Roberto, you found you found some of this new meteorite. Can you tell us a little tiny bit, don't show it off yet, but tell us a little bit about the history of it real quickly.
Absolutely. So on the morning of April 27th at 8:07 a.m., a morning fireball was seen in Louisiana and Mississippi. Like I said, it was a daytime fireball. There were sonic booms reported across multiple counties, and there was actually really good Doppler data on this one. Mm-hmm. So I'm in a group chat with people who actually look at all of that data and discuss recent fireballs. And I shared it with the group as soon as I saw it on the NASA Watch post on Facebook. They immediately got some really good radar returns. They shared them with me. And from there, I started planning. Matt Stream gave me a message and was like, do you want to go? And I was already planning on going. So I was like, yeah, absolutely. I'm there.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, before I let you show the fresh meteorite, I have the video that I know you're not getting tired of it yet, but it is the video of the first fragments that I know of being found. And these are your personal first finds?
Yes, for both of us.
And Matt Stream's personal first find as well. So let's jump into a little video real quick. Roberto already mentioned the date and location, and here's a little bit more information. Here is the newspaper entry for Roberto Vargas. That is one proud hunter, and I see he's in the camera smiling ear to ear right now, guys. But look at how beautiful that thing is.
Well done.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's
Thank you.
Very nice.
That's excellent.
Yeah. So here's the video of them actually finding it.
the freshest rock on Earth. Okay, I'm a little shaky here. I just found my first find ever. Roberto Vargas is here with me. And here's what I rolled up on right here with nice flow lines. Right here. Found a piece right here.
There's a piece right here.
We got a piece right there.
Right there.
And we got a nice fusion crusted piece right here.
There's more pieces in the row.
And we got cars coming down the highway right here, so we got to be real careful. But as we walk out on the highway here, we're going to go ahead and pick these pieces up. Go ahead and pick them up.
Yep.
And then we're going to go ahead and take pictures and get the coordinates for them. Check that right there.
I already checked that. That's not.
Okay.
It looks like it, but it's not.
And we'll get back to you more with more information here soon.
Yeah.
I love Roberto yelling in the background. That is amazing. Hey, Roberto, why don't you, I have a few other pictures here. Why don't you just talk to us?
We were gridding that center divider along the highway. It's Highway 89 between Cranfield and Leesdale. And Matt was on the right side and I was on the left side. We had been walking for about a half hour. We get to this edge and we're about to turn back when Matt says, oh shit, I found one. Sorry, I don't know if it's PG or not, but
Right,
so
right.
he was like, it's there, and I ran over, and we just lost it, man. It was just insane. And then right next to it was another piece. We started looking around. We found several pieces in the road, and then I start looking in the grass, and that's where I make my first real find. It's a beautifully, almost half crusted individual with iridescent crust on one side. It was just insane. Those are Matt's first, the ones that Matt first saw. Beautiful flow lines on those. He was so excited. It was just unreal.
Look at the iridescence on that.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
And
Absolutely.
if
Very
and,
nice.
and you can see it's got some brecciation
Yeah.
and dual lithology. There's the iridescence on the crust, which is really beautiful. A real kind of, you know, a little bit of a rollover lip.
Yeah,
along
I
the
was about to
side, a
say
little
it
yeah.
looks like it has a rollover lip, like it's actually oriented.
It does. Yep.
And then you're using terms like brecciation and dual lithography. Wow, I wish we could only learn what those words mean. This is beautiful.
Yeah, there you see that contrast between the darker lithology, which is, you know, part, and then the other lithology, the lighter lithology. And from what I've seen, these pieces, this stone was the only one that had that.
That's
That
great.
is so cool.
That you didn't have other people out there searching with you in your video. It looked like you were the only two at that time.
We were the first to arrive.
Nice.
When we got on the plane, we had been told that it disintegrated in the atmosphere, that none of it made it to ground. We had been told that it was originally 90 pounds, and that 95% of that ablated on its way down. So there would only be 5 pounds to be found, and that all 5 pounds would be in deep, dense forest and swamp. So it wasn't worth going.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for not listening to them.
Yeah.
That's right.
All the haters out there. Well, the math is correct though. We've talked about ablation before, and when a meteorite enters the atmosphere, a lot of it does burn off, especially when it bolides like that, and you have smaller fragments. You have more exposed surface, and they get burnt up. We've talked about like Wenchcombe in the past, where they said a 6 kilo mass entered the atmosphere, and they projected about 600 grams would have hit the earth, and I think they have 606 grams recovered.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
so that math does pay off, but sometimes you have to ignore the math and buy a plane ticket.
Well, I know one thing. If you hear solid boom or sonic booms as the thing flies overhead, there's a rock that hit somewhere.
Shortly after we got there, Mark Fries and his wife Linda from NASA also arrived, and they found the first and second stone. This was the third stone. We had been searching for about 8 hours and had found absolutely nothing, because we were searching right underneath radar Doppler data. So we were pretty, you know, me personally, let me speak for myself. I was kind of discouraged at that point. So we started driving from where we had been searching, and about a minute down the road, I see this guy on his knees in the middle divider, waving his arms at this lady down the road. So I immediately pull over to the side of the road and run over to him, and I'm like, "Is that a meteorite?" And he was like, "Yeah, don't touch it." And I was just like, "Okay, we're here. It's here. It's over." So it was just cool from there. We searched there for around 2 hours. We didn't find anything. We found the third stone the next morning. We started at daylight, and within the first hour, we found that first stone, which happened to be the biggest.
Well, I have a question, and then anyone who has a question, they can either raise their hand or wave or whatever, or just yell it out. How much has been recovered so far?
So far, I did the math. We're at 427 grams. We have Matt Stream and I's first stone, is around 215 grams. Raymond Borges found an 8.8 gram. Robert Keaton found an 11.9 gram. Eiley, I'm not going to try to pronounce her last name. She found 5 grams.
And it's sold already. That was the first piece I know that sold outside of the state.
Yep, that was the first piece that sold publicly, I should mention. But then there was Mark and Linda's, which I believe was 41 grams and 36 grams. Then yesterday, we received a call of 153 gram stone that was found by a local. And we purchased, Matthew Stream and I purchased that.
Nice. Is that the one that was broken in half, the 130
Yes.
gram? Okay.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
Yes. So basically, he the second half of our second to last day, he stayed searching. I went to FedEx Kinko's and made flyers and distributed them within a 3-town radius of that highway.
You pulled an Inninger.
I posted some in gas stations, mailboxes. If I saw a human being, they had a flyer in their hand, and they got to hold a piece of the meteorite. So
that's the way to do it.
yeah, and that's actually how we ended up getting contacted about that 153 gram stone yesterday. And that was, we weren't even in the vicinity of that area at that time. We were in New Orleans on our way to the airport when they called us.
Fantastic.
Nice.
My only suggestion for you is next time you're going to be photographed in the newspaper collecting the world's freshest meteorite, wear a logoed shirt like Matt did.
I wore your shirt the first and last day I was there.
You
That's classic.
Great
you
work,
look good.
guys.
You look good out there, Matt. Thanks for joining us, buddy. How are you?
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, we just watched the video of you finding yours, and amazing, just amazing.
Me and Roberto were so pumped. We were hugging each other, jumping up and down like schoolgirls.
No doubt, no
It
doubt,
was
man.
amazing.
What questions do we have for the finders of the world's freshest meteorite, guys?
So, was there any rain or any moisture that would have been a problem, or did you happen to have dry weather for those first few days?
Go ahead, Matt.
So the first day was nice and dry. We later had to pull them out and let them dry, which we let them sit out in the sun for about 5 hours in the car as we drove around looking for more and getting out hunting. And then we put them back in the bags, and there was still more moisture on it. So we ended up just taking them out for the entire day, letting them dry out in the sun. And then I think both of us, when we split it up, we left them out for another day. And mine are completely dry now. There's almost zero weathering, but there's a little evidence of it. Yeah.
So it hit the road and is considered a hammerfall, right?
I don't know. Is it?
We're
I don't
wondering
know.
that too.
Yes,
So,
yes.
and then my next question
Okay.
is classification. Is it going to be classified quickly, or is that going to take a while?
Very
So-
quickly. Go ahead, Roberto.
Quickly, okay.
Yeah. So the hope is quickly. It's going to be classified by Mark Fries and Linda Fries, who found the first two. Mark works for NASA, so hopefully he can expedite stuff. We've also set aside a portion of our find, even though we didn't have to, for Daniel Sheik, because Daniel Sheik is he's like a rising star in meteoritics. He's out there classifying all of our meteorites and doing a great job. He requested a sample, and we were more than happy to provide that for him.
Fantastic.
So
Yeah, he's the classifier to the knowledge bolide crew. So yeah, we're
Yeah,
all about-
awesome answer.
Yeah. Just
Wonderful
one
work,
question.
guys.
Yeah,
Matt.
really well done, guys. It takes a lot to get off your ass, buy a plane ticket, fight the snakes, fight the backwoods banjo music, and find these small little treasures of the cosmos that like exploded and just rained down. But there's like, I saw some of the video, especially Rob Keaton, when he was walking around. I saw some of the video that he had, and it was just absolutely next to impossible to find something that small in grass that tall.
Oh, yeah.
We have another hunter that was in Mississippi on the line. He's been quiet, but Cameron Smith was out there as well, and he found his first. Him and his wife both, I think, found their first meteorites.
Nice.
Yeah, we did.
So how?
Yeah.
There's a little bit of crust on some of that. And then we drug a little bit more another day.
Whoa!
Nice.
And found that. And then we started looking in that awful tall grass that you mentioned.
Oh my God! I didn't know you had this much.
Nice.
So, got some.
They couldn't hide from you. They couldn't hide from you.
So, got some crusty pieces.
Those are excellent.
Very well done.
I actually just got back home and got all this set up. I want to take a loop and just sit here and till my eyes cross, I guess.
Drool. Yeah, exactly.
Wow, that is fantastic, my man. Congrats. Well
Thank you.
done.
Thank you.
All right. So this was
That's
Absolutely
fresh
gorgeous.
crust looks like. That's beautiful. Oh, and there's the two lithologies too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
so that is my baby. This is gonna be in the next day or so. This will be in a frame with my cheesing, smiling picture right next to it.
Well played.
Yeah.
That one is
Oh,
never
yeah.
gonna be sold. Being the
No,
first.
sir. No,
Yes.
sir.
That is awesome.
Very nice.
Yeah, huge
Thank you.
congratulations, man.
Thank you very much.
There was a few people out there hunting that we know of that aren't on the hangout. Ashley Humphreys, Mark Lyon, Robert
Steve-
Ward, Sonny
Steve Ar-
Clary.
Craig Zyman was out
Yeah,
there.
Craig Lyman and Steve Arnold.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, just a bunch of people that we know are hunting it, and a lot of them had success. So really,
Raymond Borges, Eiley, and
Oh.
Rob Keaton. Yep.
Yeah.
and
they're out
Cameron.
there.
Yeah, God dang, there's
Cameron and
The
Josie.
the major hitters in the
yeah,
group.
it
We
was
had-
our community out there.
We had a dinner after I want to say our third night there, and there were 14 of us.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Too cool.
Yeah, I want to jump into. We can discuss this more when we're not recording, because I know there's stories that want to be told and deals to be made. So let's jump in a little bit to the group project I was talking about earlier, which is the Meteorite Video Glossary. All right. I figured we're going to use this as an example. We just dropped a lot of words that mean a lot to us, but maybe not a lot to other people. So this is a little example of what the video glossary that the Knowledge Bolide crew is creating looks like. And we can have discussion on these afterwards.
With a fall, we know when and where it fell, and with a find, we simply know when it was found. Chelyabinsk is a very witnessed fall. However, spring water was a find. No one saw spring water come into our atmosphere, and we were lucky to find it later.
Boom. You have 20 seconds. That was awesome. Yeah. So that's the difference between a fall and a find. And so we're obviously talking about a fall that happened today. And we also had a little bit of a bolide event. So we talked about bolides earlier. A bolide is an explosion and fragmentation as a meteorite slams against the Earth's atmosphere. The meteor gets trapped between the low pressure void behind it and the high pressure of compacted air in front of it until it finally bolides. The larger the bolide, the more dangerous. I'll be honest with you, before I started really getting into meteorites, I had no idea what bolide meant.
Nice video with that one.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like the sound effect in there.
Yeah, I'm almost totally against sound effects, but that one was absolutely necessary. And that's actually real audio synced up. So, but yeah, they can be quite dangerous events, even though we want the bolide event because that's what brings fragmentation and rock, a higher possibility of rocks on the ground. Dark flight refers to the period of entry just after ablation ends and the meteorite can no longer be seen in the sky. It is still traveling about 7,000 miles an hour and is about 50 miles high. Along with the speed and trajectory, winds in the upper atmosphere will affect the path of dark flight and eventually the strewn field. So even though that was a 20-second video, it had some really good information in it that I think would be handy for people to screen grab or just to look at. So as you're creating these, if you want to include something like this, notice I give credit up on the top corner, but people can listen to the 20 seconds or they can deep dive into it and look a little bit more. Like on the video, we discussed dark flight, but this whole slide talks a lot more than just this dark flight period down here. And then even on the last one here, I didn't get into that all, but that's how they basically logically do the math of where a meteorite would be. And one of those things is obviously dark flight. We talked about, have we found the main mass of this thing yet? So this is the description of main mass. Main mass usually refers to the largest individual meteorite or the largest piece of a single stone meteorite that is being classified or has been classified and documented in the MetBull database. Main masses are highly prized by collectors. Oh, from Maxime.
A fusion crust is the result of the outer layers of the meteorite burning and melting while it enters the atmosphere. The high temperatures due to friction with air melt the rock, which rapidly cools down afterward. This causes the molten materials to solidify into a usually less than 1 millimeter thick glass layer, often black but not always, called the fusion crust.
Wow, yeah. He made that look good, huh?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
very nice.
Oh, this is a term that maybe people on YouTube are watching us right now don't understand, or maybe there's some in the group that aren't 100% clear.
When using the term dual lithology in meteorites, it simply means to me two different types within one rock. This slice of NWA 13543 classified CB3 shows that striking difference remarkably with the CB3 material on the right and the CM2 material on the left.
That was a great video from Oz. Thank you, Oz.
Absolutely.
And probably a better example than mine. But see, everyone can benefit from taking a step back and starting at the very beginning again. So we also mentioned that when it was first discussed, when they said it was a breccia, now they're leaning towards a dual lithology.
Breccia is a rock composed of broken fragments held together by fine-grained matrix. In meteoritics, most breccias are a result of impacts. Notable examples are regolith breccias from the lunar surface, shown here, howardites from the surface of Vesta, and Black Beauty Martian surface breccia.
Nice.
Fantastic. Yeah. Oh, this is one from Marissa for thin sections, because obviously, in order to get the new fall classified, there needs to be thin sections made of it. So this is what a thin section is.
Thin sections are slices of a meteorite that are glued to a glass slide and ground down to 30 microns thick. These are used to optically and chemically identify minerals and features to study and classify meteorites.
Boom.
Yay.
Love it.
Yeah.
Great job.
Nicely done.
The photography is amazing too.
Oh
Heck yeah, it is.
Yeah. All I did was take the little picture in the side. She's the one who did all the hours and hours of thin section work. So fantastic. So I stole some of her thin sections to make Pat's entry a little bit better. So when they look in the thin section, they're going to see, or when they actually looked at the meteorite samples for the first time, one of the things is, what type of meteorite is it? Well, it's not an iron, it's not this, it's not that. So they looked and they saw chondrules in it.
This is a chondrule. This is viewed in thin section. Chondrules are small spheres of silicate material that remelted Before meteorites were formed, these grouped up into meteorites and became our chondrite meteorite.
And then I think one of the last steps in the whole process is getting it published to the MetBull.
The Meteoritical Bulletin, or MetBull, is the primary and official source for information about new meteorites. It contains listings of all newly recognized and reclassified meteorites, as accepted by the Nomenclature Committee of the Meteoritical Society. It is published formally once or twice a year, but its actions are made available more frequently through the Meteorite Bulletin.
That was
database.
Smiley up in Canada. Oh, we have a double entry from Smiley because one of the goals is we want to know exactly where that meteorite came from.
In meteoritics, a parent body is a celestial body from which originates a meteorite or class of meteorites, such as lunar, Martian, or the head classification from 4 Vesta.
It is the ultimate goal of meteoritic science to understand the original parent body of all material.
Sorry, Smiley.
Sweet.
13 seconds wasn't long enough.
I love it.
That turned out good, guys.
So that was a little demonstration and an example of some of the glossary terms that the crew has put together. I have more in the presentation. We can look at them later if you guys want, but what do you think so far?
Good.
Fantastic.
Very good.
This
I
is
think that
this is
This
going
was
to
a
be a
great-
basic resource.
It's a great start to which is going to be a wonderful repository for the future, now and the future.
Yep.
Right. I think it encourages people with an interest in meteorites to do further investigation and searching themselves.
I'm really glad you guys we're all on the same page because I think it's really going really well. I'm very amped to see the final. Maybe there won't be a final product because we keep on adding words to it, which is great. If you guys have a term that you think should be added to the list, let us know and we'll add it to the list. I want to let you guys know of a little special I'm running, a promo for the crew only. So I'm going to hit pause for a second.
I paused the video to talk to the crew about this 2.1 gram fragmental breccia lunar end cut. I'm giving this away to one of the crew members for participating in helping us create the Meteorite Glossary. So thanks everyone for your participation. Keep earning those points, and this could be yours.
Now is the time in the show where we like to go to my beautiful wife for the monthly update on the MetBull. So this is the meteorites that have been uploaded into the MetBull. Sue, take it away.
Hey, everybody. Okay, so this is the update for all meteorites that were published in the MetBull during the month of April. So thankfully, it was a little bit slower of a month this month than it was last month with the 190 meteorite classifications. So we had 50 of them, and 2 of those were actually just updates to previous classifications. We had 47 finds, and we had 1 fall. And the smallest one is 3.1 grams, and the largest was 33 kilograms. So those are the basic stats. I usually don't go too deeply into the revisions. Yeah, so we bought a lot of El Hassan Udamed. So yes, we were very interested when we saw this. So with that one, the total known weight was updated. So we were happy to see that because I think the last weight that we were looking at, we thought there's no way that is possible because I think we have more than what they're showing. So they did update that, and they updated another one that was a Rumuruti. It was about 100 kilogram find, and they're saying they think it's closer to 200 kilograms, but they're not going to update it because those Rumurutis that were found nearby have already been classified as other meteorites, and they don't want to give double credit to the same meteorite. So they just added the note in there. But the rest of the other 48 are brand new. So we have our locations. I'm not going to go too deeply into all of them, but I don't know if anybody sees something that we haven't seen in a while. Any guesses? No.
The US.
Yes. All right, next slide, Topher. All right, so that was Estancia Valley, and that was found in New Mexico. and it was classified by Carla G. It was a single stone find. It was about 2 kilograms. It was found by a farmer, and he thought it was like a piece of tin or metal when he was in the field plowing. And they just got, I think, purchased last month. And so, yeah, we have our first American classification of 2022, and actually, I think the first one in North America. So I thought that was pretty exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's just it's a lot smaller than it was last month. So one of the things on there is a 1 HL melt rock. So we'll be touching on that one later. I think that's the first one ever. But the one that I thought was really cool was the fall, and that was a Boto Hilitano, and that was another Carl G classification. And I thought the story was really cool because it's a confirmed fall, but the way they wrote it up, it seemed like it was just witnessed by one person. A woman saw it falling into a rice field in Indonesia, and she went and told the owner of the field, and he found it, and it was a 5.8 kilogram single stone find. And he kept it since 2015. It was just bought last year. He's been keeping it because he thought it was a symbol of magic and good fortune. How cool is that? So yeah, that ended up being an L5. I mean, nothing like super special as far as the classification, but I thought it was a really cool backstory. Okay, so here are the noteworthy ones. Obviously, we just discussed Boto Hilitano. The reason I put up the Irichadia 007, it wasn't anything like too spectacular, but it was classified by our favorite classifier, Daniel Shake.
Yeah.
And I'm not really sure what happened with that one. It was found in 2009. Looks like it was only purchased about 2 years ago. So I'm not really sure why the person held on to it for so long. Didn't really go into that too deeply. Purchased it 2 years ago and got it classified. But yeah, that was Daniel Shake's classification, one of his 2 last month. Then we have Lulan Yitzi 042. That's the one I mentioned earlier. It's a single, it's just a really small 22 gram meteorite, but it is an H/L- melt rock, and it is the first of that classification.
Wow.
So yeah. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. So that's like 2 months in a row that we had the chondrite braconite like last month, and now we have this one. So it just seems like we're adding more and more new classifications all the time. And then we have Toke Sun, and it's not brand new, but it was a 16 kilogram find, and it is one of 5 LL6/7 classifications. So not as many like really monumental finds as there were last month, but for 48 classifications, I thought we had some good stories there.
Yeah, I like the stories.
Absolutely.
So
you assigned homework to people?
well, I just threw it out there as an idea for some interesting reading. So I was wondering if anybody even remembers what I told them to go read. Wow.
No one remembers the homework assignment.
All right, you can all see me after class. I'm kidding. I mentioned that there were some really cool locations in the MetBull about where meteorites are like have the location. So we had Mars, the moon, and Pacific Ocean. I told you guys go check them out. They're pretty interesting. So Mars I thought was cool because the rovers go around, take really amazing pictures, and I guess they have gotten some samples. So they had and it's mostly irons, stony irons, and iron IAB complex that have been found. And the crater that was found, the Gusev crater, that was found on Topher's birthday in 2006, I think. So yeah, so the Mars exploration rover Opportunity found the first few meteorites. Then it was the Mars exploration Spirit that found the craters, and then since then it's been the rover Opportunity and then the rover Curiosity finding those meteorites. And I don't know if anybody's ever read up on them, but they name some of the different rocks in the area and how to, give directions. And there's one that's called Egg Rock and things like that. It's kind of interesting. So I would definitely recommend people go check it out maybe this time. The Pacific Ocean ones are pretty cool. So these are ones, especially with the first two, they're found at the ocean floor, and they're found by like fault line systems. I think the first Clarion and Clipperton, they're pretty small finds. I thought that was really cool that they're looking for meteorites at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean, and actually finding them. So yeah, hunters can find them anywhere.
Sue, are these like for oil exploration in which they're doing deep sea core samples, and in the core samples they're bringing up, they're finding traces of meteorites, much like they did with the Chukotlik in the Yucatan Peninsula, the dinosaur killer?
They said that they're done with deep sea sediment piston cores. So yes, the moon is the other location that you can look up in the MetBull for meteorites. It's one is a crater. Obviously that bench crater. The other one is an EH. That is, I think, one of two classifications. There's only, that one and one, the other one's in Antarctica, I think. And I think they got those from the Apollo 15 astronauts when they went there. So,
wow.
Obviously, I just did a MetBull update about 2 weeks ago to get us kind of back on track. So we're gonna now that we're like up to date, the next one is actually the next time we have a hangouts on June 1st, and I'm not gonna try to rush it and try to read all these things in one day. So we're gonna wait, and we're gonna do it later in the middle of the month.
Thank you so much, Sue. I really appreciate that update from the MetBull. We look forward to it every single month to know what new meteorites we can own. Maybe not the ones from the moon or Mars, but thank you so much. We're going to slide into some show and tell, and we have some of the fresh new meteorites that were just found. Matt Stream, can you show us the ones that you found, buddy? Now, what are we calling this meteorite, by the way?
Roberto, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. It's Cranfield, I think.
Cranfield? Is that what we're going? I think that's what they're going to do. So here's the first one that we stumbled across, the absolute first one that was just smiling at us in the road. And it was still wet at the time. You could see the flow lines.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. And then when you turn it over, check this out.
Oh my gosh. That one really shows it.
Yeah. So this has got a really good view of both lithologies there.
What's the weight on that one?
Let me check real quick.
Wow, that's the majority of the meteorite in the world right there.
And this one I'll keep because it's the first piece,
Yeah.
20.405.
Nice. Nice.
That is
So
a sizable hunk, man.
I do have a few more pieces here, and I will offer some of these for sale if anybody's interested.
Very nice. Oh, that's super.
Oh yeah, this one's got the flow lines on it.
Wow.
Real nice piece.
Oh my God.
Lots of crust there.
Wow.
Roll over lip.
I don't think there's shock veins that I've seen on these.
Yeah, I haven't seen the either.
Okay.
Wow.
But definitely some good pieces. I don't want to take up everybody's time, but
no, this is fantastic.
It's nice to see this.
Yeah.
Doesn't get any fresher than that.
Yeah, these are fresh from the highway.
Wow. This is fabulous. Wow.
Yeah, some good pieces there. So
that is great. And let's get through the rest of the hangout so I can buy a piece. Pat Brown has some chondrules to show us.
Yes, so this is
Chondrule City.
Slice of one that'll be in classification here soon. And this one So it, obviously it's got a carbonaceous inclusion, but this one also shows an interesting dual lithology that's way more subtle. See, in some areas, the meteorite is darker.
Mhm.
In this area, it was actually much brighter in color, possibly two different zones or lithologies in the stone. But this one is a chondrule party, and this one also exhibits the chondrule cluster texture, where the chondrules are squished a bit.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Thank you, Topper.
That is a beautiful, beautiful piece. I love the chondrules in the carbonaceous inclusion.
Yes. Yeah, there's a
So
lot
I
of
thought-
lot of
looks like I am
structure in there.
Wow, that's fabulous. Thank you so much, man. And our last show and tell of the evening is going to be Art Wagner.
Oh, here I am.
Actually, closed loop on Sue's presentation. This is the Rumuruti she was talking about, isn't it, Art?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a class
Oh, wow.
R3, 13758, NWA, 29.31 grams. And that was from,
Algeria?
yeah, that is. And
But-
it was a find. So, but on the back side of this, there are saw marks. It's not polished, but there are two dark areas.
Yeah, our chondrites, Rumuritiites, are almost all brecciated.
Mhm.
Okay.
I don't think we know why, but virtually all of them are brecciated.
Many of my Rumuruti slices have similar features like that. So
And
brecciation is pretty normal.
Well, that is a beautiful Rumuruti. I have a fusion crusted end cut of it, and you can get lost under the microscope looking at the chondrules. So I'm glad that we were able to see that one after Sue talked about it. Thanks, Art.
I was going to add, because I did just read about this, it does say in the write-up that there are two main lithologic domains that exist in that meteorite. So that's kind of a well-known thing.
Yeah. Very good. There you have it, Art. But I put together a little video of the actual event and did a little bit of trickery with the bolide event itself, because I think the bolide event is actually really interesting when it happens. You can really see how explosive it was.
Nice.
It was a fast moving one too.
And that was multiple disruptions for that, correct?
I think there was a few of them. Like on that one, you can literally see that there was a few disruptions. They were minor, but they were there because there was some fragmentation.
I wonder if it registered on the Richter scale.
So here's the video that I thought was the most interesting. You can even see right there, there's some fragmentation. So like this one is I think the coolest one. Yeah, it really has a good amount of fragmentation in there.
So basically, the way that they knew to call us was on my second to last day there, I stopped hunting halfway through. I allowed Matt to continue hunting because we had an arrangement. Basically, we were splitting 50-50. Anything we found, purchased, or otherwise, we were splitting 50-50 on this trip. We were the first two there. We decided to come down. It was a collaborative effort. It was not competitive at all. And that's what saved us. It was just about working together.
Did any of you go into the woods, or wasn't that necessary? I noticed the grass along the roadside was kind of high, like it hadn't been cut.
Tell them about our first day.
So the first day, like I said, we spent about 8 hours searching in an area that we found nothing. Most of that was in a wooded area. We kept on hearing drums, and it was like backwoods, so it was kind of scary. But there was nothing to find. It was just, it was overgrown woodland. There were snakes, there were lizards, there were I saw multiple black widows. I saw a cottonmouth. I was covered in ticks. I saw a copperhead. And I know about snakes. If you look in the background, I've got several. These were venomous snakes. We saw a black ricer, which isn't really a venomous snake, but still huge. It was not conducive. And then the search area was just impossible, just because of the grass, the leaves and everything else. Even if there were a meteorite out there, it'd be impossible to find.
Well
Thank you.
done.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
have to give a huge shout out to both Roberto and Matthew Stream, because without their able guidance and wisdom, we wouldn't have never because it's when you look back on it and realize how many miles we walked, and how many things, all the cemeteries and churchyards and whatnot, and then the space that we ended up finding, all of this was about the size of like a pool table all put together.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
So did you have time to GPS your finds to save the coordinates?
Yes, I dropped a GPS pin. I did save the coordinates. I actually shot video around the area so that if anybody else goes out there, I can at least point in the right direction.
Nice.
Dragging the magnet through those. If you look at Roberto's video, there's a bunch of really deep cracks in the pavement, and you know what it feels like when an 18-wheeler drives by, the big whoosh of air that goes with it. So yeah, you could probably drag those cracks till whenever just as long as you wanted to, and get as many pieces as there are to be found. So
wow. Well,
before the next heavy rainstorm rolls through.
We need to give that information to Mike Kelly. He's on his way driving there right now.
He is, and I think we've lost him.
Mike Kelly has the info. I've been sharing.
I'm still here, guys.
Oh, good.
Well,
there he is.
all
Yeah,
that?
good. I was gonna say, awesome. Yeah, he's in the dark, but he's driving towards the strewn field right now. Hopefully next week or the next week we'll have some of Mike Kelly's samples to show. I want to go to Roberto and
I'll keep
Matthew.
you posted. I got about another 14 hours to go.
14 hours of driving left. That's
good luck.
That's dedication. And we hopefully are still recording, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Roberto, real quick before we leave that, you said that was the only piece that you'd seen with the dual lithology.
So what I meant was the 180-gram piece that Matt and I found in many fragments. That stone was the only one that I saw with the dual lithology. I only really got a good look at Mark Fry's stone, and the inside of his stone I did not see the dual lithology. So some of my fragments had the dual lithology, and some of the fragments that Matthew has have the dual lithology. I am sold out. I am done with this fall. It was a great experience. I have my keeper and I have my memories, and I am very happy with everything and how it went. So,
we're happy for you.
I was just wondering, do the classifiers have samples of both lithologies, to your knowledge?
Yes. Today, Matthew, go ahead, Matt.
Oh yeah, today I picked out 2 nice pieces, and one of the bigger pieces had the dual lithology that went straight to Daniel, and he'll have it by tomorrow evening.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's another super cool thing about this whole thing is by doing this whole thing, by going through all the arduous duty, you actually are helping science and getting these things to science, and like directly giving them over to our friend in science who's going to be classifying with other scientists, and you guys are going to be on the MetBull, and well-earned entry, well-earned.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, super proud of you guys, honestly. I mean, it's like that smile right there. That's a $500 gram smile, baby.
Sweet.
Yep. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, and that anytime you're going to be photographed collecting the world's freshest meteorite, you gotta wear the knowledgeable light shirt. That's a new
yes.
mandate.
Yes.